All right, y'all, we back again. It's day 2. Let me show y'all what we working with. So day 2, we got the office. So obviously yesterday y'all saw this. All right, it's just a desk. It's all right. It's not bad. All right, but we did do a little bit of improvements in here. As you can see, all right, so boom, we got, a little bit going on. We ain't really do much in here. I do got my altar right here. We're gonna talk about altars today. Ooh, y'all in for a treat. All right, so let's keep it moving. A little bit in here, not too much crazy, just it's supposed to be our employee fatigue restoration room, something like that, some corporate jargon. We're gonna basically have like snacks, place where you could relax, like take a break, but it's not really a break room because you can like do whatever you want, right? Like go to sleep. And that's like if you working, like it don't gotta be on break times, all right? We in the new age. So this is supposed to be the break room area right here, really. So we'll get that cracking eventually. This the wife business area. She got a pet joint going on, so shout out to her. She gonna have taking care of pets. And then we got the studio game cracking. Alright, so we're gonna get that cracking. It ain't there yet, but we get in there. I gotta put some shelves back here. This is what we got for right now, just some little cheapo whatever, but we gotta get all our products, put them over here. I had to cover the bikes up, you know what I'm saying, so they don't get scratched and all that. The workshop, you can see we got our products, about to get them lined up, shipped out. What else we got? I mean, we got a lot to do. We got a lot of work to do. But it's supposed to be the workshop area, branding and all that. So yeah, that's where we at. This day 2. Y'all seeing it here first, live direct. I had to cover the license plate so y'all ain't stalking me and joint like that. But anyways, let's talk about it today. So I already told y'all earlier, we're gonna talk about altars. All right, so that's what we're gonna talk about. And this is actually a deep thing for the second day. That's kind of crazy. It really shouldn't even be on a vlog, but it should be a whole lesson for this because it's deep. All right, we got meat over here. All right, we'll feed y'all a little bit of milk, for the little young ones. But for the ones that know what's going on, man, let's just get into it. So altar. So what is an altar? That's a great question. So an altar basically could be defined in multiple ways. So one way that you can define an altar is as like a portal. It's basically where divine meets the flesh or the worldly. Okay. Now, like I said, this is just a vlog, so we're not pulling up no verses or nothing like that. Just go in your Bible, actually read it, and pull up anywhere where it say talk about altars. And you're always gonna see it's always something from the heavenly realms entering when there's an altar present. And that could go both ways, you understand? Because demonic people use altars as well. And it's kind of sad that a lot of times demonic people know the power of those kind of things when believers don't. So, but that's why we're here. We're here to equip y'all, freely give as you have received freely. So boom. Altar is like a portal, okay? It's also like a trigger, right? Because you have to trigger the portal somehow, right? Which means you need an altar. Now, this is where it's about to get a little bit complicated, a little bit deep. When it comes to altars, you don't necessarily need like what I got over here, right? Like a physical thing. Because after Christ came, we are the temple, which means you have the possibility of being an altar. Like I said, altar is a trigger. So you can trigger God coming down, God's presence coming down, or some other entities coming down in certain scenarios. So, and a lot of times we have altars built up unaware. You understand? And a lot of times it's not to our benefit. Because depending on what altar you have, so let's say you like the old school cats that we see in the Bible, building altars to Baal and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, that's not what you want to do. And that's what they were doing. And God was not happy with that. But you can do the same thing in modern times. So for example, how many of y'all have a TV stand with a TV on it? I'll wait. Because that could be seen as an altar. Depending on how you're using your altar, let's say worst case scenario, you come home from work or school, whatever, or you just work, or you just stay at home, whatever. You go every day when you want to take a break, you sit on the couch, you turn on the TV, watching some BS, some demonic stuff, some horror films, or not even something that might seem demonic. So for example, the cartoon Ben 10, that's a cartoon, that's literally a cartoon, and the audience is young kids. But it's been said that show is actually demonic. So that's an example. That's why you gotta have discernment. You know what I'm saying? So let's say every day you sit on the couch, you watch some demonic shows, whether you know it or not, and you're inviting those spirits into your life, into your house, because of what you're watching. Okay? Sinful things that God is not pleased with. Now, it doesn't become an altar when you go and you sit down, you watch it like once or whatever, and just whatever. It becomes an altar unaware when it's like you make it a habit. You create a trigger to where every time you sit on the couch and turn the TV on, you go into a certain mode of basically, it's like a sinful mindset. It might not necessarily be like an evil, what the world considers evil, right? You might not sit down and be thinking about killing people or nothing like that. But sin is simply the absence of God. You understand? So anytime you focus on something that's not godly, you have the potential of being in sin. Okay? So I'm not going to explain too much because it's going to take more than the 8 minutes that I planned on being on here today. But the main thing, if you want a main takeaway when it comes to altars, for 2025, most practical thing I could tell you is watch what you think. Okay? You are, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You are what you continually do, what you continually think. So if you're creating habits that are ungodly, you have the potential of building up an altar in your mind, in your spirit, for things that may or may not be right. Okay? Because it goes both ways. If every time you sit down, you look at TV, you turn on worship, you turn on Prophet Lovey, and you're watching some lessons about the Lord, you are creating a good altar. Right? So now, God will be able to come and visit you, have an encounter with you, because you're continually doing that every day. And it's like, okay, I know, this is just an analogy, it's like an example. It's like, okay, I know he's going to come here every day at this time and do this. And it's like your subconscious is already switched into that gear, into that mode, regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. like I said, it's a complicated thing, and that's what I'm gonna give y'all for today. So if y'all got questions, if y'all want to learn more, if y'all want different type of videos, I mean, on this particular playlist, it's gonna be vlogs. But if y'all want different types of videos, y'all gotta you gotta bear with me, because I'm just, as y'all can see, my office ain't set up yet, studio ain't set up yet, so the content is going to be limited for right now. But put your suggestions, put your likes, comments, share, subscribe to whatever you want to see in the next videos, and we're going to talk about it, because it's a lot to go through. All right, y'all stay blessed. Gang, we out.